Hey everyone! Today we're going to talk about an amazing part of Korean history called the Three Kingdoms period. This was a time, starting in the 4th century CE, when three powerful kingdoms, Koguryo, Silla, and Paekche, shared the Korean Peninsula. Eventually, Silla brought the three kingdoms together in 668 CE. Koguryo was the biggest and oldest of these kingdoms. It was started by the Yemaic tribes after they took over the Puyo state in 37 BCE. Over the years, Koguryo grew into a strong kingdom under its sixth king, Taewo. The kingdom covered northern Korea and parts of Manchuria, which is now in northeastern China. But being in such an important location meant there were always enemies nearby. For a long time, Koguryo's rulers had to fight off northern tribes and Chinese forces. One big victory came in 313 CE, when Koguryo kicked the Chinese out of their territory in Pyongyang. But not every battle ended well. In 342 CE, the Chinese struck back, attacking Koguryo's capital, destroying the king's tomb, and taking 50,000 people prisoner. After this, Paekche took the chance to invade Koguryo's capital and take control. Even with all these challenges, Koguryo's most successful time came during the rule of King Kwanggito. He achieved so much that his tomb has an inscription bragging about how he captured 64 fortresses and over 1,400 villages. Under his leadership, Koguryo expanded into the Liaotung region of China, which had been a trouble spot for a long time. He even stopped a Japanese invasion of Silla in 400 CE. Then in 475 CE, Kwanggito's forces attacked Paekche's capital and pushed Koguryo's borders further south, defeating a combined army of Paekche and Northern Wei forces. But Koguryo's power didn't last forever. By the 7th century, it was constantly fighting with the Chinese Sui dynasty. Even though Koguryo won some battles, including stopping an invasion of 1 million soldiers, these wars left the kingdom weak. Then came the Tang dynasty. Koguryo fought against them too, but the Tang made an alliance with Silla. This partnership changed everything. With Tang's help, Silla defeated Paekche and then turned against Koguryo. At the same time, Koguryo was struggling with problems inside its own kingdom. Even though it built strong defenses and teamed up with the Turks, it couldn't stand up to the combined strength of Tang and Silla. In 668 CE, after a long battle at Pyongyang, Koguryo's king surrendered. The Tang didn't stop there. They took away Koguryo's rulers, captured 200,000 people, and put the area under their military control. And now let's dive deeper into the story of Paekche, one of the fascinating three kingdoms. Paekche's origins can be traced to Puyo refugees, who fled south after their defeat by Koguryo, and the local Mahan tribes they encountered. These groups united to form the foundation of the kingdom. While historical records like the Samguk claim that Paekche was founded as early as 18 BCE, it wasn't until the reign of King Koi in the 3rd century CE that Paekche truly became a unified, and organized kingdom. Over the next century, Paekche evolved into a strong, centralized aristocratic state, growing in power and influence. It occupied the southwestern part of the Korean Peninsula, bordered by Koguryo to the north and Silla to the east, and played a key role in shaping the history of the region. Between the 4th and 7th centuries, Paekche's relationship with Japan was particularly significant. This connection wasn't merely about trade. Paekche acted as a vital cultural and technological bridge between China and Japan. It was through Paekche that many Chinese advancements, from writing systems to Buddhist teachings, made their way to Japan. Skilled artisans, scholars, and advisors were sent to Japan, helping it develop culturally and technologically. In return, Japan occasionally offered military aid to Paekche, which was often locked in battles with Koguryo. This exchange of knowledge and support strengthened ties between the two nations and left a lasting impact on Japan's development. During this time, Silla was also growing into a formidable kingdom. Under King Namol, who ruled from 356 to 402 CE, the Kim family solidified their position as the royal dynasty. Silla adopted Buddhism as its official religion, which played a crucial role in unifying its people under a shared belief system. Located in the southeastern part of the peninsula, Silla's strategic alliances were key to its survival and growth. At times, Silla joined forces with Koguryo to defeat smaller tribes and repel Japanese invaders. In other instances, it allied with Paekche to counter Koguryo's dominance. These shifting alliances show just how dynamic and strategic the politics of the Three Kingdoms period were. One of Silla's most remarkable institutions was the Hwarang, a military academy for young nobles. Initially, the Hwarang was a local program designed to educate and train young men in leadership and combat. Over time, it evolved into a national organization that played a significant role in Silla's military and cultural identity. The Hwarang, also known as Flower Knights, were not just legendary figures of bravery and honor. They were an integral part of Silla's success on the battlefield. Despite being the smallest of the three kingdoms, Silla's disciplined military and strategic use of alliances allowed it to stand its ground. When Koguryo and Paekche tried to suppress Silla's rise, Silla's alliance with the Tang Dynasty of China gave it a decisive edge. However, working with the Tang Dynasty came with challenges. After Koguryo fell in 668, the Tang sought to establish control over the entire Korean Peninsula. Silla's leaders were quick to recognize this threat and took action to preserve their sovereignty. They supported rebellions in Koguryo's former territories, undermining Tang's authority. At the same time, Silla launched military campaigns against Tang-controlled areas in Paekche. In 671, Silla's efforts culminated in a significant victory over Tang forces, allowing Silla to consolidate its control over much of the peninsula. This marked a turning point in Korean history, as Silla emerged as the dominant power. Even though Koguryo had fallen, its legacy lived on. Many Koguryo natives, along with the Malgal tribes, regrouped and established a new kingdom called Paekche in the Manchurian region. Paekche thrived as a successor state, carrying forward the cultural and political traditions of Koguryo. For a time, Paekche flourished as a center of trade and culture, but its stability was tied to the fortunes of its neighbors. When the Tang dynasty began to weaken, Paekche found itself vulnerable. In 926, the Khitan tribes invaded and overthrew Paekche, bringing an end to its reign. Many of Paekche's people fled south to Silla, where they became part of the emerging Goryeo dynasty, which would go on to shape the next era of Korean history. The interconnected stories of Paekche, Silla, and Koguryo show how these kingdoms influenced one another and shaped the history of the Korean Peninsula. From cultural exchanges with Japan to strategic alliances and fierce battles, the Three Kingdoms period was a time of dynamic change and enduring legacies.